Graeme, firstly, we heard last night David Bates will be moving to Hamburg. Talk us through the process from your involvement in that and your thoughts on that move.
We were in negotiations with David. We wanted David to stay, obviously, and Hamburg have come along and made an offer that we can't match. And David has thought about his career and his well-being and decided to take them up on that offer.
Is that difficult to take, the fact that the club couldn't match the offer, or is that just the realities?
It's just the realities of the situation. It's disappointing for us because obviously we've invested time and energy with David. We've played him, we've helped his development. He's decided to go elsewhere. That's his prerogative, that's his choice. And we can't at this stage stand in his way, so that's his decision. We respect his decision. Obviously we're disappointed, but we have to move forward.
Does that surprise you, a move like that? I know they're struggling in the Bundesliga, but is that a move that...
Nothing really surprises me in football, to be fair. It's just one of those things in football that happens. We've negotiated with David. He decided not to take us up on that offer, and Hamburg have come in for him. That's the modern football world, unfortunately. And we lose a player, but we wish him well.
Were his demands unrealistic?
We couldn't match what Hamburg came in and offered. That's the simple reality of it.
Did you try and maybe have a word with him to say this is the right place for your development?
We've talked to him all the way through. He knows my thoughts about it. He knows my thoughts about him as a person. He knows my thoughts about where he needs to develop and get better. And we're in a good moment with him in terms of his development. We've worked really hard with him. I think we've really aided him. But he's chosen at this stage to go elsewhere. And at the start of next season, he'll play for them. But between now and then, we've got lots and lots of games and lots of players to take care of.
Will he still be involved if he can regain fitness?
Potentially. We'll just have to make sure we get him fit, and we'll have a look at what we need for the remaining games.
Is there a concern that the club now doesn't have the pool that it perhaps once might have had?
Not at all. Not at all. It's up to us now that David has moved or will move. It's up to us to go out and recruit aggressively and improve the squad from where we were, and that remit hasn't changed.
Is there a concern about the fact that the club gave him obviously an opportunity that it's not perhaps getting the loyalty shown back to it, the sort of faith it put in him?
It's down to the player. We've made our offer. He's decided to go elsewhere. You'll have to ask David about that. But we negotiated in good faith with him. We wanted him to stay. He's decided to go elsewhere. We just have to deal with it and move forward.
Is there targets already in mind in terms of replacing him for next season?
Yep, there's targets already in mind. There's areas that we want to improve the squad, and those searches and those checks will be ongoing.
There was a statement obviously released this week from the chairman. It's led to some speculation about your own position. Can you give us your thoughts on it and perhaps the timing of it before
my position hasn't changed. I've got a contract until the end of the season. The chairman, as far as I'm aware, reiterated that in the summer a manager will be appointed. Whether that's me or someone else, that appointment will have to take place. So my situation and my reading of the situation hasn't altered.
Was it unhelpful to be released so close to Sunday's match?
Not at all. It's another thing you have to deal with, but we move forward and we get ready for the game. I want to concentrate on the game. I want to move forward and get the squad prepared for the game. It's just a reiteration of the situation as it pertains to season tickets and to the managerial situation moving forward for the club.
Have you spoke to the chairman this week about the statement or anything like that?
No, not at all. I haven't felt the need to. As I've said, my situation hasn't changed. My understanding of my situation hasn't changed. The club need to appoint someone in the summer, whether it's me or someone else. A permanent appointment needs to be made. I have a contract until the end of the season. That hasn't changed.
When was the last time you did speak to Dave King?
When he was last over.
Some people say the interpretation would be it cast doubt on your future, but in another way, can you look at it saying it didn't rule you out either?
I thought it started saying that I've done a really good job and I should be proud of what I've done. So, once again, it doesn't change my situation. It doesn't change the reality of what I've got to look forward to between now and the end of the season. If anything, it allows me to focus in and making sure that I give my closest attention and the very, very best of myself to the remaining games.
Well, given that then, how beneficial would it be for your cause if you can win at the weekend and potentially go on and win the cup?
Yes, I would suggest that it would be better for me personally, but it's about making sure we get this weekend right. We've got a big game. Let's concentrate on the game. I would prefer 100% to speak wholly about the semi-final because it's going to be my first experience of it. And it's a really, really big day for the football club and it's a big day for the players. So my sole focus is upon that, not what happens after that, not what happens in the summer. It's about making sure we get Sunday right.
You've been coming closer recently against Celtic.
Yep.
Chances at Celtic Park, certainly second half. Again, ahead at Ibrox last time, had a chance to equalise late on as well. Do you feel you're getting closer in this fixture?
The remit for this season was to close the gap. to make sure we push on and be seen to close the gap. I think we have done that. The next step, obviously, is to go and win the game. If we go and win a game, I think that we will begin to instill belief in our supporters and our players that we are getting closer. But I believe we can cause any team in this country problems when we have the ball. It's about ensuring that we concentrate for the full 90 minutes and perform a complete game, both with and without the ball. If we do that, I believe we have the opportunity and the talent to go and win the game. So it's about making sure we get all of those factors right.
How tough was it mentally losing last time around, and also at Celtic Park not getting the win when you had chances? And is that a factor coming into the game as well?
It's difficult, but I would prefer the boys to use that as energy and as motivation to go and take that next step, because I think once they do take that next step, that will release a lot of tension, will release a lot of pressure, and will allow them actually to see that the things that we're doing are improving their mentality and their psyche. But obviously winning the game is the ultimate for them in understanding that they can go and challenge. And when they do that, because I've no doubt that we will, that they can actually start to take that belief forward into the remaining games.
You've shown that you're capable of scoring goals against Celtic. Is the emphasis more on making sure that you don't concede?
It's kind of the emphasis in every game, I think. Scoring more goals than you concede, but it brings it into sharper relief because it's Hampden, it's a semi-final, there's a big prize of a final there. But we've shown that we can cause problems. We've shown that we will make chances and we can be clinical. But it's about making sure that, as I've said, we put a complete performance together at both ends of the pitch. I think if we're clinical in both boxes, we will have the opportunity to go and get a positive result.
How much have you studied that 3-2 game at Ibrox going into this one?
You don't want to know how many times I've watched it. I've watched it lots because there's lots of things for me to learn, there's lots for the players to learn, there's lots of improvements to be made, but also there's many positives to be taken. So we've looked at it, we've understood where we need to get better. But I've always said that us in possession, I believe that we will cause teams problems. I believe that we have good talent, we have good intensity, we have good pace and tempo at the top end of the pitch. We have to make sure that we pay respect to their talent and their ability and their difference makers upon the pitch. Once we get our structure right and our understanding of what they're trying to do right, I think we put ourselves in a better position to get a positive outcome.
How hard is it to watch that game back?
It's hard. It was hard initially. It's not hard now. Now it's a learning opportunity. And it's just making sure that you try to disassociate the emotion from the reality of it and take the lessons from it.
How is Alfredo's sort of mindset going into this game? Do you sense a determination from him after the sort of last week?
I think he's already been in the press saying that he's going to score. He wants to score. It's a mindset of a centre forward. We've got lots of people who want to actually get on the pitch first and foremost, but it's about making sure that we give him those opportunities, and when he gets those, you may only get one. You go and you take it with both hands, and then you make sure that the rest of your game is on point as well, because taking chances is just one part of it. It's just one part of what we will need from him.
The mark of a good centre forward, as he says, the ability to put a miss out at the back of their mind and carry on and take the next one. Do you see that from Alfredo, from the way?
I see it from the strikers that we have in the squad. I see it from the attacking players that we have in the squad as well. They know that we're going to have the ball. They know that they have the ability to create chances. I believe there's an old adage, you'd rather have centre forwards in the position to miss chances than them not getting there. I believe he gets there. I believe we can get him in there, and I do believe that given the opportunity, he could hit the back of the net for us.
To what extent did Kenny Miller give you food for thought with his performance against Dundee?
Lots. He adds to the team. He adds with his understanding. He adds with his energy. Obviously scored a goal. So he has trained well in all the time that I've been here, and it's about making sure we pick the right team to marry up to the right challenge. So he's another option for us, but he certainly didn't do himself any harm.
How important could his big game experience be given the nature of the tie?
I think you've got big personalities throughout the squad, so as well as Kenny, there's Bruno, we've got Russell Martin, we've got Jamie Murphy, obviously an international now, so we have big game experience throughout the team. But it's making sure that once the game starts, we just play the game. We don't play the occasion. We try not to get caught up in emotion. We play the game on talent and on understanding rather than on that emotional drive. And if we do that, then, as I've said, I believe we have the players to cause them problems.
He says he's looking for another season. Do you feel he's got another season in him? Is that something the club are looking at?
We're looking at all players. So we're looking at Kenny, we're looking at other players, we're looking at all options. I think he spoke earlier about options in replacing players and looking at the squad. We're looking throughout the squad to make sure that we have a squad next season capable of challenging at the top end of the league.
You've often employed a huge amount of pace against Celtic. Is that something that you feel they're particularly vulnerable to?
I believe in pace throughout the game. I believe particularly pace in defence is really, really hard to simulate in training. But as some of our guys went to see Man City Liverpool, and they were blown away by the athletic prowess of some of the players down there. The ability to deal with the ball at pace, at tempo, and the ability not only to go quickly, but to sustain and repeat that athletic prowess. I believe that pace in that regard is something that is a massive difference maker regardless of level.
Is Josh Windass okay?
Trained fully today.
Is that, again, a good option to have then?
So it's another option for us to look at and to utilise. Obviously, we missed him in the last game, but he's trained fully today. So for us, he's another person that could come in and as he showed, he's got the potential to cause them problems and can nick a goal at important times, hopefully.
Ross McCrory came off at the weekend.
That was a case of his manager wrapping him in cotton wool, because he's just back and he's a young lad, and we recognise that he's got a big future ahead of him. So we're making sure that we keep him athletically right and physically right. So that was just me being possibly overcautious.
When you played for Scotland, did you play all your games away from home?
Yes.
So is this your sort of first real experience of Hampden?
I've been on the bench at Hampden. I've experienced it at Hampden. My first experience for an Old Firm game when I came up here was at Hampden for that game, and it will be a new experience for me, one I'm really, really looking forward to. And I'm going to say to the players, I'm desperate for them to enjoy it. I'm desperate for them to walk off the pitch with a smile on their face, and to really take in everything about the occasion. But you only get to do that if we do our job properly. If we do our job properly, then I believe that we can all enjoy the day.
Any other team news? I think Jordan
Rossiter completed 70 minutes for the under-20s against Breidablik's B team in the week. Lee Wallace trained today, and everyone apart from David Bates and Ryan Jack completed full training today.